What's going on, guys? Welcome to the video. So today I'm going to be talking about setbacks and disappointments and how I've been able to deal with those whenever I encounter them. So if you're ready, let's get it. So one of the great things that successful people do is that, they're resilient and they always find ways to deal with, setbacks and disappointments, because setbacks and disappointments is something that is going to happen. It's bound to happen to everybody. But the way that you react and the way that you respond to whatever the case may be is what's going to be the difference. So the first thing that I have for today in terms of how to deal with personal setbacks and disappointments, and these are things that I've personally done, right, and I've personally tried myself, is number one, accept it, right? That's kind of like the first thing. You have to accept the disappointment, you have to accept the setback, and the quicker you're able to do that, the faster that you're going to be able to move ahead in your life. But accepting is kind of like one of those things that sometimes it's tough because you don't want to accept the reality of the situation that's happening. But there's always something positive to learn when it comes to setbacks and disappointments. And a lot of times people, in general, and I can tell you for myself, sometimes it's just easier to focus on the negative side of things, but there's always a silver lining in everything. And if you focus on that silver lining, right, what's the positive here? What's the one thing that I can learn from this situation? I think is kind of like one of those things that you can do that will really help you to be able to move forward. So the faster that you're able to accept that disappointment or that setback, whatever the case may be, breakup, maybe you got fired from your job, maybe you didn't make the team, maybe the business deal that you were trying to do didn't go the way that you wanted to. Setbacks are bound to happen. It's part of life, it's part of the journey. But the quicker you're able to accept those and be resilient about it, see what the silver lining is and what can you learn from it, the quicker that you're going to be able to move on to step number 2. So like the second step that I can recommend that I've done these myself and they've worked pretty well for me when dealing with disappointments and setbacks is number 2, push through. Just push through. And the way that you push through is by, once you acknowledge and you accept the fact that you had a failure, the fact that you had a setback, the fact that you just went through a disappointment, whatever the case may be, you want to push through. And the way that you're going to push through is by really taking massive action on whatever it is that you were trying to achieve, right? So for me, I can give you my example. I know I got cut twice from playing basketball when I was growing up and I was trying to make it into playing professional basketball. And I know I got cut twice. The first time I got cut, I was massively disappointed, But what did I do? I took massive action. I took that summer and I went and I worked on my game, on my shooting, on my dribbling, because, I accepted the fact that I got cut, right? I accepted the fact that there were some things that I needed to work on, and then I took massive action to correct that. And the second time that it happened, the first time happened when I was in high school, and then the first time happened when I was in college. It was the same thing, right? So I thought I had the opportunity, I thought I had the skills and the talent to be able to make the team, but then I went to the trial. Even though I made it to the end, I made it to the finals, right? And this guy from the West Coast beat me to it, and they kind of gave it to him. But I took massive action, y'all. And I remember that summer I went to Dominican Republic, and I spent literally the entire summer working specifically on those things that I knew I needed to work on to get me to the next level. For me specifically, it was really just being a lot quicker. So I worked on running a lot. I worked on shooting a lot, because every single person that I played against when I was in college, I was like this skinny. So when I was in college, I was like 178, 180, I think at most. Every single guy that I played against with was like 220, 215. So they always had out of pounds on me, right? So they used to beat me when it comes to like pushing me around and things like that. But I knew that was something that I needed to work on. And my initial reaction was like, man, this sucks, man. I know I can play with these boys. I know I can do what, I could do this. So I accepted the fact that I got cut, and then I took massive action. I went to DR, went out there, did everything, like every single day, discipline, right? From morning to the end, workout, play, workout, play. And I did that consistently. And when I came back the next year, guess who was on the team? Yeah, I know it. That's right. So step number 2, right? Whatever it is, you encounter a setback, a disappointment, right? Just make sure that you take massive action. Come over here. Now, the last thing that I have for you guys today is number 3, right? Is watch what you say to yourself, your mindset, like what you're saying to yourself inside your head. Because sometimes when we get a setback, we get a disappointment, we get into our heads, we get into our own heads, and we start saying things that we shouldn't be saying. And it's super critical and important for you to be able to watch what you're saying to yourself, right? Be kind to yourself, right? You just went through a very difficult situation, and you failed, you had a setback, you had a disappointment. So watch what you say to yourself, because it's super important that we're taking care of ourselves, and that we're not only protecting ourselves, protecting our health, protecting our integrity, but setbacks are bound to happen, but what we say to ourselves is super important. So if you have that setback, if you have that disappointment, make sure that you watch your mouth, right? Make sure that you watch what you're saying to yourself. Make sure that you're staying positive. Make sure that you are focusing on the silver lining of the situation, as opposed to thinking about all the negative things that come with having a setback.
The police came out, and then Dylan, the police officer, came to town and rescued all the people that were in danger. And suddenly there's a fire everywhere, and then they never heard. Then they said they dangerous, and then there was like a big fire monster, and then we tried to put it out. There was big smoke, and we put it out.
What are they supposed to do with the subscribe button?
Smash the subscribe button. Turn on the bell. Do this if you like.
Not the other one. This way.
If you like some more videos, and let's get the show on roll.
Yay! Alright guys, so that's gonna be the end of the video for today. If you made it to the end, thank you. I really appreciate you guys watching. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. So with that, I'm out. I will see you on the next one.